On behalf of Tracy's family, I want to thank each and every one of you for being with us this morning. And as I was preparing for this celebration of life today, I was thinking to myself, I believe this is the first celebration of life service I've ever done in the morning. And I thought how beautiful that is, because so often, from a human perspective, we tend to think of the experience of death as being the end of the day, when in reality it can be seen as the beginning of the day and the beginning of new life and the beginning of new possibilities, not only for Tracy, but for every one of us. I believe truly the greatest tribute we can give to this great woman is to open our eyes every morning with the understanding that we are in the midst of a divine gift. That being said, I invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes for just a moment as we open this experience together in prayer. Almighty and divine Spirit of love, truth, and eternal life, in this moment now, with the passing of this beloved lady, our hearts are truly open to a deep and abiding awareness of your presence and your power, in the recognition that we of ourselves are not living our own lives. Our lives are being lived. Our lives are being lived by the same cosmic energy that orchestrates an entire universe and far beyond. Thus, our days are forever embraced, both in our human experience and as we move into new chapters of eternal existence. By your grace, by your mercy, by your comfort, and by your eternal love. So we are gathered in this place today to hold hands, to hold hearts, as we continue the eternal journey forward in faith. We ask that through this experience today and in the days and weeks to come, your comforting presence be with each and every family member. And may our senses be extraordinarily open to recognizing that this beloved lady has in truth gone nowhere. She lives in the only true place she has ever lived, and that is in our hearts. We let it be, so it is. Thank you, God. And amen. Been asked this morning to share with you from the 23rd Psalm, words that have provided comfort for countless generations and now extend themselves to our hearts in this moment today. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So we have come together this morning for at least two reasons, I believe, and they're both very important causes for gathering. The first is to share in the very human experience of grief when someone that we love and that we have grown very close to departs from this plane of existence. It is a normal, a natural, and in some ways even a beautiful experience to allow ourselves to move through the grieving process. For while it can be challenging and while it can be difficult, the reality is this: the measure of our grief, the measure of our loss is always equal to the measure of our love. And so we had the honor of sharing love with this amazing woman, and if you know her, you know she was amazing. You know she was deep and spiritually hearted, and that it was her intent in life to bring joy to everyone and everything that she was a part of. It is difficult on the human level to let that go. So we are here with the family, with those who shared Tracy's path in life to let you know that our love is with you, our support is with you, and our faith in the eternal nature of life is with you. At the same time, and I know this from a conversation I had with her daughter, Jamie, we would be extraordinarily remiss if we stopped with the experience of grief. For no experience that we ever have on the human realm is there but for the reason of moving us forward. And in order to allow Tracy, in order to allow those who love Tracy and all of us in this room to move forward, we must look not only at the human experience of grief, but also at the very divine experience of eternal life. There are many civilizations, you know, and there are many cultures that have not found death to be an experience in sadness and sorrow, because I believe they recognize something that's very important for us to recognize today. And that is that life is more than we could ever possibly imagine it to be. It is eternal in nature. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And from the spiritual perspective, my friends, nothing truly has changed. I'm speaking about the absolute realm of our existence. Our lives are eternal. And though we occupy human bodies, the reality is that we live. We've always lived. We live now and we always will live in each other's hearts. Well, there's nothing that can take that away. There's nothing that can take away this great woman's presence from our hearts. She will always live there in our memories. And the moment that you even so much as close your eyes and think of her, I assure you she will be more real to you now. Why is that? Because she is not bound by the constraints of a human expression any longer. And I know that she knew this because she was an avid student of the Unity Way of Life and of universal spiritual principle, which tells us that we are spiritual in nature. So we really want to take this moment this morning to, yes, experience the human side of grief, but also truly embrace the celebration of her existence. Tracy has graduated. She's graduated. And I know that her pursuit of spiritual awareness and understanding prepared her for this graduation in a way that few people are blessed to have that experience of graduation. She knows this is not the end of anything. This is the beginning. And her life is richer now than ever. And she is more real to each and every one of us than ever. So I really encourage you to be open to her eternal spiritual presence as it reveals itself to you, because it will if you are open and receptive to it. And you'll come away from this experience of her passing from time and space with the recognition that what matters in life can never be taken away. What matters in life is eternal in nature. What matters in life is one thing and one thing only, and I know you know what it is. Love. So as we move through this time together today, let us hold in our hearts the love that we feel for Tracy and hold in remembrance the love that she feels for us. I'm going to share some words with you regarding Tracy's life. Tracy was actually born Tracy Jane Smith on March 28, 1949 in Cleveland, Ohio. She was the daughter of William Bill Thurley Smith and Winona Jane Morgan, and sister of Stephanie and Billy. Tracy grew up in Lake Erie and graduated from Fairview Park High School, where she was a member of the synchronized swim team. She attended Ashland College, where she met Danny Valls III. They fell in love and married on August 22nd, 1969, just 4 months from when they met. Tracy and Dan lived in St. Croix, chartering their sailboat Brigand, and also lived on Mosquito Island in the British Virgin Islands. Tracy and Dan had 2 daughters, Kimberly Ann and Jamie Lee. They moved to Coconut Grove, Florida, where Tracy worked at Grant Center Hospital, completed her degree in accounting, and started her own company, Debits and Credits Incorporated. Wonder what she did. Divorced in 1990, Tracy's first daughter, Kimmy, passed away in 1993. Tracy remarried in 1994 to Kevin FELDEWERTH and moved to Lake Worth, Florida on January 4th, 2008. That's my old stomping ground. That's the next layer. Oh, all right, excuse me. Tracy became a grandma for the first time with the birth of Liam, Ross, Derek, and absolutely loved being a grandma. On January 11, 2011, she became a grandma once again and celebrated the birth of Jude Elliott Derek. Tracy and Kevin divorced in 2013, and Tracy created an adorable home and garden sanctuary in Boynton Beach and loved working from her home. She built a great business, and her clients adored her. Over the last few years of her life, Tracy was focused and dedicated to an enlightened spiritual path, and she loved sharing her journey, living life to the fullest, enjoying each cherished moment with family and with friends. Tracy enjoyed laughing, lunching with the girls, babysitting her grandchildren, sharing her favorite red wine, and chatting. Tracy loved good champagne, traveling, yoga, and her garden and her warm spiritual home. Tracy loved organizing, as was evident by her extensive use of Post-its. I love this woman. I thought until I saw this or that you had written, I thought nobody loves Post-its more than I do, but clearly we had a lot in common. Tracy, sometimes called Tra-La-La, enjoyed comedy, playing games, and planning her next adventure, but her greatest love of all was sharing special moments with her family and friends. She passed away on April 29th, 2017 at her home in Boynton Beach, Florida. Her spirit lives on in the hearts of all of those who loved her. And speaking of all of those who loved her, it is my honor to invite to the platform at this time Jamie Valls and Tracy's son-in-law, Sam Derrick.
This is a poem that fell into our lap, basically. How did this come about? Oh, she did love this poem. This really does sum her up from my experience as well. You can hear me all right? Okay, good. That'll work, all right. Oops. Maybe I shouldn't be reading this. Now, it's called The Dash. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on her tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that the first came the date of her birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For the dash represents all the time that she spent alive on earth. And now only those who love her know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel. This is Tracy. And be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we never loved before. If we treat each other with respect, and more often wear a smile, remember that this little dash, special dash, might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say and how you spent your dash? And that is Tracy. I didn't write anything down. I didn't want to. I didn't think I could probably stand up here and do this. But this poem is kind of her. She was very supportive and always just allowed us to be, and everything was good. She was strong, but so allowing, and you know, I met Jamie on the internet basically through family. I was recommended highly, and Jamie was as well, but still Tracy encouraged and pushed, but encouraged and allowed Jamie to hop on a plane after 6 weeks of this guy on an email to fly across the world to, oh my God, Australia, Darwin and Canberra, no, Sydney, to meet me and help pay for it and do stuff to encourage. She always saw the good in everything, and really, you know, I'd like to say that we come to these events and we hear good stories about people, but I think Tracy was one of those that really was a way, she lived a way that we should all encourage ourselves to live and others to live, and support each other and love. And she really communicated that to us all, and we all know, we all understand. So I appreciate my short time.
Thanks, honey, for reading.
It's a good lead-in for you, sorry.
Thanks. Now I'll sing a song. I think I'm going through mild insanity probably because I haven't been to cry yet, but I'm sure my day will come. Might be today. But I think because it was so sudden, because it was totally unexpected, my mom was the one telling everyone else how they needed to eat better and do this and do that, and I was telling my mom, and so to say it was unexpected is an understatement. But the fact that we were best friends, like, not, oh, your mom, you love your mom. Yes, everyone loves their mom. Everyone thinks their mom is great, most people. But it was a connection because of my sister passing when she was 21, I was 17. And I think we sort of became surrogate sisters in a way, surrogate fillers of that friendship, that bond. And we just told each other everything, talked about everything. She encouraged us as a family so deeply. She learned how we wanted to do things and she joined in. She didn't say, how about this instead? She just went, okay, you tell me what I need to do and I'm gonna do it. And she embodied that through her whole life. She listened, she advised, she encouraged. She was the best cheerleader in the whole universe because she didn't come at it with, oh, that's great, honey. She came at it with, oh my God, you are so amazing. And that was just how she made you feel. Every time you called, every time every time she called, everything was great. And not in the, I'm covering something up, everything is great. She just made a choice. And so growing up with someone like that, I feel now, I have felt like she hasn't, like you said, Reverend Chris, she has not left. She's not gone. And we're gonna have a butterfly release after this, and the reason is because the whole concept is just because a caterpillar, the caterpillar thinks it's dying and going, no doomsday. And if that didn't happen, we wouldn't have butterflies. And I believe that wholeheartedly is exactly what my mom, where she is, how she is. She's here, she hasn't gone anywhere, she's bigger and better, and I'm just really pissed she can't babysit. Because he's our only babysitter.
We lost our babysitter.
Yes.
Our personal accountant.
Yes.
For our multiple businesses.
An investor.
Our
Financial investor.
Financial advisor.
Advisor. Kids best.
Encouragement machine.
And that's it. She just was so many things to us, as well as just being such an amazing, loving grandma. She loved being grandma. Liam one time when he was a little younger said, you know, I think I really get along with grandma better than I do with you. I said, oh, that's nice, honey. I'll make sure grandma knows. And she was like, yay! And they did. They clicked. She loved being with Jude. Everything gelled. And so I won't keep going on in the sense, but to say I love having another angel. I have a lot of angels right now. I really would like some of you guys to hang around here for a little while. So I'm gonna let everyone else say something, and yeah, thank you all so much for coming here for us and to be here to celebrate her life, because it really is what it is. She had an amazing life to celebrate, and that's what we want to do. So, thank you. I might make everyone.
Sister-in-law Kim.
I was hoping to follow a comedian, but okay, let's see if I can get through this. I didn't know how to print this, so I just had to bring my computer. So I was Tracy's sister-in-law, and I had the beautiful gift of knowing her for 18 years. And I know she had a lot to overcome in her life. She could either feel sorry for herself or treat what had happened as a gift. And because everything is either an opportunity to grow, or an obstacle to keep you from growing. But Tracy chose to love the things she was blessed to have. When I would talk to her on the phone, I can always hear the smile on her face and the joy in her heart. I'm sure some of you were the recipients of her endless emails that expressed the happiness that she felt of having you in her life. And I will admit that I did not pass it on to 10 friends. But I promise you, Tracy, the next time I get one, I probably still won't pass it on, but I will definitely think about you. Jamie, you are an amazing daughter. I can't tell you the countless times that Bill has told me what a rock star you've been during this terrible tragedy. To do everything you've done in the last 6 weeks with just a little bit of help, and to hear you laughing when you were on the phone with your Uncle Bill was really a testament to the values that your mom instilled in you. You and Sam have 2 beautiful boys who, with the help of all of us, will be able to remember their grandmother through the stories we tell of how amazing she was. So I just want to share a poem with you. Death is nothing at all. It does not count. I only have slipped away into the next room. Nothing has happened. Everything remains exactly as it was. I am I, and you are you. And the old life that we lived so fondly together is untouched, unchanged. Whatever we were to each other, that we are still. Call me by my old familiar name. Speak of me in the easy way which you always used. Put no difference in your tone. Wear no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. Laugh as we always laughed at the little jokes that we enjoyed together. Play, smile, think of me, pray for me. Let my name be ever in the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without effort, without the ghost of a shadow upon it. Life means all that it ever meant. It is the same as it ever was. There is absolute and unbroken continuity. Why is this death but a negligible accident? Why should I be out of mind because I am out of sight? I am but waiting for you. For an interval, somewhere very near, just around the corner. Tracy, you have a special place in my heart, and I will truly miss you.
And a lifelong friend, Carol, is going to share with us.
Well, I felt compelled to be up here. You know, it's never easy to talk in front of people, but it was compelling to do this. So I sat down at my computer the other night and just thought about what I would want to say. And the words just came, just flowed. And this is, what you're going to hear is exactly how it came forth. I didn't rearrange it, didn't have to draft it out and redo it. And so I did bring it with me to read just so that I would get everything in. So I am going to read this to you. For those of you who don't know me, I have been one of Tracy's longtime friends for over 35 years. My name is Carol Jacob. When we met, Jamie was around 4 and Kimmy around 8. One of my fondest and earliest memories was a Thanksgiving weekend. I don't know if you remember that, Dan. My ex-husband and I were invited to a weekend sailboat raft up with Tracy and Dan and their young children. Not having met Tracy and the girls before, it was a delight to have been invited to share Thanksgiving dinner together in the Keys aboard their boat. Do you remember that? Where my then husband and I were living on our boat. From the moment I stepped aboard, it was most amazing. How could this couple live aboard a boat with not 1, but 2 children? 2 young children. And on top of that, there was a whole turkey cooking in the oven and a full table set. This was truly an amazing woman and mother, I thought. And oh, her long and curly hair, what a unique individual, all the while chatting, cooking, and having her wine. From that time, our friendship grew, and we visited often as we moved around South Florida, including me actually living in their cozy apartment in Coconut Grove for a while they were living aboard their sailboat at Dinner Key Marina. I had separated from my husband, thus the offer of the apartment in the Grove came to me from Tracy and Dan. Very kind of you. As the years went by, our friendship grew, and it ebbed and it flowed. We had taken our boats with our then husbands on sailing charters around the Keys and the Bahamas and met up at Dinner Key Marina often when we were in town. When we both became single years later, well, things became pretty wild with 2 single gals loose in South Florida. Yes. Those details will remain with me and will not be for publication. But let me say, we had some really adventurous times. I would travel to the Miami area while I was living in the Keys, and then Tracy would come to the Keys, and we had our fun times together, raising Cain everywhere. Tracy later met another man, Kevin, who eventually became her husband. And I had the privilege of being the officiant at their wedding ceremony and coordinating their wedding held at Chica Lodge in Ala Morada, where I was then working as Director of Catering and Convention Services at the time. It was a lovely and fun affair. And years earlier, before Kimmy's passing from cancer, I also married Kimmy and her active duty military husband. So, married a couple people in the family there. Later, when I decided to take a hiatus and leave the Keys, I lived for a short time with Tracy and Kevin at their Lake Worth home while I found myself. Again, I think that was the second time. They were great company and very supportive. I also traveled to Tallahassee to meet up with the family for Jamie's graduation from FSU, a beautiful weekend event for the family, of which I was privileged to be invited to and be a part of. It was a great weekend. So more than a friend, I felt like part of the family as I was included in many, many family events over the years. Jamie and Kimmy were raised to be wonderful women with a slightly different outlook on things than typical young people. All to the credit of their mom, and yes, their dad, Dan. When I received Jamie's call that she had bad news to share that Mom, quote, had passed away, well, I completely went into shock and lost it. In disbelief. How could someone so full of life, positive energy, and positive affirmations, and good health could have this happen to her? Some light and laughter has left the earth in Tracy's passing. However, we are all left with a little sparkle as the result of knowing her. You have been one of my best friends and a sister from another mother, Tracy. I shall treasure all the friendship years we had together, the good and not so good times, all woven together in the fabric of the last 3+ decades. May you rest in peace, my friend, and may God bless and keep you always.
And next we'll hear from another lifelong friend of Tracy's, Debbie.
It's an honor. Thank you, Jamie, for inviting me to speak. And it's so wonderful to be here and celebrate Tracy. And just the amazing amount of friends that are in the audience is a tribute to her. And I know that you and your family was the love of Tracy's life. Jude, Liam, and she was devoted to you, and she most felt fulfilled having her daughter and this beautiful family as her life. And she spoke often to me of wanting to have her whole family closer, and she recognized that life paths just take different turns, and she accepted that. And I love that she would just spontaneously share things from the deepest place in her heart. And she never held back and tried to make something better. She would just reveal what was really in her heart. And I thought, gee, she was such an example. And Tracy was really a gem of a friend. I've known Tracy introduced us at Dinner Key Marina over 30 years ago, and we, of course, were sailors. So we met Dan, and the girls were little youngsters, not quite as little, but you were teenage youngsters. And we would go sailing in the Biscayne Bay. We would go to the Columbus Day Regatta and anchor up and party. And I celebrated many birthdays on the boat. Sparkly shoes and bottles of champagne. I remember all of those beautiful gifts, and she loved sparkles. So we got along very well on that realm. Some of the crazy things, you know, she would come to Key West. We would dance down Duval Street all hours of the night. We would ride in limos, popping champagne out the top sky roof to Janet Jackson concerts and many other things. And I think, Carol, you remember a few of those. I won't say anymore. So what I really wanted to share most with you about Tracy was the really deeper side of her. And Reverend, you pointed to many things. She was deeply spiritual, and that was something we shared in common. And what I loved most about her was that she could really look beyond any pain or any disappointment in her life and choose consciously to take the higher stand. And in that higher stand, she would reaffirm her life, and she would consciously allow her life to be like a vengeance of new life. I'm just going to, this will and sheer determination. She was just going to move through whatever it was and go beyond that. And she did that over and over again. And her affirmation of life, she always was, we were sun rider, herbal pushers and Arbonne, beautification committees. And we did all of the things that made us, improve our life and be happier. And the happiness that she shared was so infectious. She just could beam that smile and laugh. That laugh, that was her distinctive life. It's like if I think of Tracy, I hear her laugh. And it was really her gift of mirth. Laughter is a healing agent, and especially that very deep, authentic laughter. And she spoke a lot of angels. You brought that up too. I always said her overlighting angel must have been Archangel Raphael, because he was the great healing angel, and he was also the angel of mirth. That always brought the levity and the gaiety. And so we would always invite the angels to come in. Her time that we spent together, meaningful to me. I invited her to be my maid of honor at our wedding back in '93, which was just shortly after Kimmy had passed. And I said, Tracy, if you don't feel like, being in the, the celebratory mood, it's okay. She goes, absolutely not, I wouldn't miss it. And she allowed our joy to just seep in and share it. And she danced and laughed the whole weekend. And so that was just her. She could just take in the joy and soak it in and then radiate it out. So part of what I loved most about Tracy. In the latter years, when I was teaching at a healing school in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Tracy would come at the end of my teaching stint and spend the last day with me. And sometimes the family even came. And we would spend the evening together. The first would be this ruckus chatting for about an hour, and then we would drink some champagne. And then we'd talk about the really deep, meaningful things. And she loved to speak of her spirituality, and we shared that so deeply. And what she came to know was this greater expression of herself. And her identity wasn't just this physicality, but much beyond that was her ability to love deeply herself and then spread that to all others. And her acknowledgement of her true identity, which is this great omnipresence, that she's here. I mean, chair of honor. And she's, nodding. Yeah, this is true. We all did our long night chats over, how we weren't just this physicality, but we lived beyond it. And she was the first to acknowledge that way back, even when Kimmy passed. And the poem that's on your little brochure, she wanted me to read that at Kimmy's passing. And that's the truth. You transition to another plane of bliss, plane that, is greater existence, and it doesn't negate the fact that she still exists here with us. So I think what she most loved of her family, and unity was one of the topics she always shared with me. We had this kind of soul communication, and so that's what I take away with me and keep very sacred within me. She understood that her own presence and spirit would forever be lived with all of her friends, her family, and her loved ones. So she knew there was much more. And what I'm sensing now is the peace and her gift of the mirth that she's really left me with and left us all with. And may we always be forever blessed by Tracy and her gift of life to each of us in our own way. Thank you. Thank you all for being so present.
And now Tracy's brother, Bill Smith, and sister, Stephanie Landreth.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. I can feel everybody here. It's a wonderful, wonderful energy. I think what I want to do first is thank you, Jamie, for this unbelievable gift that you served up to everybody. You worked so hard and in a very, very tough situation. So thank you. She's doing bar mitzvahs as well, so if you're hiring. This is my sister Stephanie, one of the three-legged stools. You know, I was starting to think about what I wanted to say and how I wanted to honor Tracy, and wrote a whole bunch of stuff down, and I thought, you figure out what you want to say, and then you just kind of channel Tracy and what she would want to hear. How would she want to be honored? Tracy woke up every day for us. Her most favorite thing in life was people, was her family, her friends, even acquaintances. It was the reason she woke up every morning to spend time with us, talking, chatting. I think she originated the chat room. She loved chatting. And she loved to laugh. She has that beautiful smile, and she loved to laugh, and it was always the one laugh that stood out from everyone. And when we were in a group as a family or whatever, her laugh stood out, and people always were wondering, what the heck's happening over there? And they always wanted to be with us, and of course, many people did. We didn't even know them, but they came and joined us. But her laughing basically kind of started out with a pretty loud screech, like a wine glass breaking screech. Then it kind of graduated into a snort. And then it would almost always, and Stephanie's part of this as well, it then graduates to this crossing of the legs and the peeing of things. That's what she did. It was a weakness that we had in the family. It started with my mom, so they come by it honestly. So,
I don't know where you are.
no, I'm just looking here. I think the thing that Tracy that meant most to me for Tracy is her allowance, and it's been mentioned a couple of times, her allowance and openness. And even though she was a strong Aries personality, she was a great listener. And she would listen and take in, and not think about what she was going to say, but take in and then make you feel really good about whatever you said and support it. And then sometimes offer advice or just say it's okay. And I've broken down a couple of times, but I continue to get this feeling from her that she keeps saying, Billy, it's okay. It's okay. I'm okay. Miss me, love me, but it's okay. So there was 3 of us. Now there's 2, but there's really still 3. And the good thing is that her spirit is in both of us and will always be in every conversation, in every meeting, in every place that we are. And to what the pastor said, there is no distance any longer. I'm not 2,500 miles away. So again, thank you all for coming. This is a wonderful testament to her. It is all about you guys, and we love you. Thank you.
I've been asked to share a poem that is relevant, I think, to all the beautiful words that you have shared, which is truly the greatest possible testimony a person can have upon their passing from this plane. So I share this with you now. Do not stand and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamonds gilt on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn's rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift, uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand and cry. I am not there. I did not die. In Unity, we believe in the power of meditation and its ability to move us into a transcendent experience that is in many ways more realistic than the human experience. So I invite you again, if you're comfortable, to take a moment with me right now as we close our eyes together and move through your mind. It's so apparent from this experience that we've shared together that Tracy knew how to make memories, how to make experiences happen in life that live with us forever. I encourage you to find one memory that stands out to you right now that you shared with Tracy. One experience in particular that especially demonstrated to you the buoyancy and brilliance of her spirit and her love for you, and her obvious love for life. And bring that experience very close to mind. Actually see her face now, as though she was standing directly in front of you. And I invite you to look into her eyes, even beyond her physical appearance, to the absolute spiritual nature of who she was. See where you are really experiencing your oneness with this woman now. And take into account every feature that you found most outstanding, her smile, her energy, just as though she were right before you. And I want you silently to yourself to speak to her the two most powerful words in the entire English language. Thank you. Thank you for allowing your path and mine to cross in this amazing human adventure. For pouring your soul into my experience that I might open my soul to you. For bringing smiles to life and joy to existence. Thank you for filling my heart with your love and opening the space through which I might master the art of allowing love to well up within me and pour over into the lives of others. Thank you, Tracy, thank you. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, sister. Thank you, beloved friend. Thank you, former wife. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you. My life is so much richer because you were in it. And now, again on the screen of your mind, reach out to take her hand into your own. And as you touch her hand, give her some encouragement. She has graduated from the school of life. And she now goes forth into the many rooms of the mansion of the Almighty, of the energy of life itself, new, exciting, wondrous chapters. She will always bless you. And now she goes forth to bless still others in dimensions that we can only imagine, but that are now very real to her. And then release her hand and give her your consent. That while in ultimate reality she will forever dwell in your heart, she has your consent and your approval to go on. That we would not hold you, Tracy, to this confine, but rather we would see you on the wings of spirit, forever moving forward in grace and beauty and joy, just as you did when you were with us in physical existence. Now your soul moves into new and exciting territories, and we free you in the name of all that is sacred and holy, till we meet again. We let it be, so it is. Thank you, God, for Tracy Jane FELDEWERTH. Amen. You are each invited to join the family in the reception area to enjoy a glass of champagne, which is quite obvious now was dear to Tracy's heart. And then move into the courtyard where we're going to celebrate Tracy with a champagne toast and a butterfly release, followed by food and refreshments. God bless you, and thank you all so much for being a part of this celebration of life today.